Presenting a project, you realize that your project is actually terrible.
Yeah,
This is where
and
Podium
then
comes in.
like big red X on the screen.
Yeah.
Call now.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm James.
Hi, I'm Sonia.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Adora.
Hi, I'm Jasmine.
Instead of just making a post-it note wall of every possible idea that we could come up with, our group decided to focus on a large audience, but still a specific audience to make a product for, because we decided that it didn't matter how good the idea was if it didn't appeal to anyone.
In initial brainstorming, we wanted to look at objects that we already use a lot in everyday life. In order to do this, we decided to run through our everyday routines, just in case we were missing some objects that were important to us that we never realized how much we used. This ended up failing to come up with an idea that we actually enjoyed, so we wanted to go back to what we initially wanted in our product. We focused on 3 things: feasibility, viability, and desirability. In the beginning, we decided that desirability would be the most important to focus on.
However, at around this time, Ishan and Jasmine had to leave for FBLA States, leaving the group kind of split. We decided to get over this obstacle by having a video call, and that way we could collaborate while they were away.
After a few minutes of thinking of different target audiences we could base our product off of, Jasmine and I were FaceTiming, and she was talking about all of her nerves from having to present at FBLA. And then we realized that our audience, which would be the gifted students, that all of them have presented, and almost all of them have nerves about presenting. And then I talked to more of my friends, and they too were having like the same ideas that, oh yeah, presenting is like my least favorite thing about every class. Public speaking is so hard to improve because really you can only improve when somebody else watches you in this society. We don't really have anything that can make it easier or more versatile.
After about a day of general brainstorming, we had decided on a target audience. After that, it only took about 10 to 15 minutes to decide on a product idea, and that product would be a presenter app that would evaluate a presenter's speaking skills and whether they were talking too fast, too slow, too monotone, or if they were stuttering a lot and things like that. That could be evaluated through just the speaker's voice and the sound waves and the patterns of the speaking. And once we had come up with that idea, we thought that it was pretty good.
In the same day, I was able to come up with a name for our app, Podium. What an easy project, am I right? The idea behind Podium was that when you use a podium, it makes the presentation a little bit more regal or formal, and our group kind of wanted to achieve this with the name.
Since we came up with Podium so early and our brainstorming process really didn't last that long, we spent quite a lot of time feeling really good about ourselves since we were so far ahead of the other groups who were still brainstorming.
Our next step in the process is to make a logo. Something that when you look at your phone, our app is the first one that jumps out into your eyes. I made some designs of a logo that look pretty good in my opinion, but when I showed it to my team, they thought it looked like a cup. Now, at first glance, I did not see that like a cup, but when I saw it again, it looked hella cup, not gonna lie.
What we ended up with, I thought, was a better representation of what Podium actually is, and it also looked way better.
Now, I still think that my old design is pretty good, but our new one is just a little bit better.
At this point in the phase, we realized that we were just patting ourselves on the back for clearly superior work. We had to go back and realize that it was crucial to find other people to give feedback on our product to make sure that it could actually help people. We decided to go to a table next to us with a bunch of self-trained presenters to see what they thought of the final product and how we could improve it. By talking to these people who had most of them spent 1 to 2 years training themselves to be the best presenters possible, we got a lot of feedback on our app and made it into something that we could actually use.
So our idea is basically a presentation app. So you will record yourself using the app, and then the app will tell you what's wrong with your presentation. It will look at your voices, and it will hear you and see the places where your voice is off or awry and where you can improve, and also look at your posture and see if you're like moving too much or like if you're not standing up straight. It'll critique you on it and tell you how to improve for when you actually present. So what do you guys think about this idea?
How does it tell like what's good and what's bad?
It'd measure your vocal frequencies and things like that, just so that it like sees when you're monotone, when you need to work on your like effectiveness as a public speaker.
I think that'd be pretty useful. Like, you know, I know as a junior you got to do like a lot of rhetorical presentations in English, so and you know your presentation skills are a big part of that grade. So useful, I think, to get feedback.
That's cool.
So like you want it's like from the audience's perspective. So like you don't want to see people swaying in your audience or in your presentation, obviously. So it will tell you what you need to improve on.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty useful for especially students.
I think that'd be useful
And you
because
can
you don't have
business
to like
people.
have to FaceTime anyone to present to them, or you don't have to like drag them to study hall or something. I think it's cool.
One thing that we wanted to incorporate into Podium was the ability to recognize body movement and flow so that you could be able to see if you were moving too fast or too slow with your entire body, but we realized eventually that older phones wouldn't have this capability and they would only be able to monitor your hand gestures and things like that. So we ended up having to cut back on our video capabilities just for the sake of feasibility, because we knew that it wouldn't work with every single phone, and we knew that a lot of our base, which was presenters, are of younger age and would have lesser grade phones. So we ended up only keeping the ability to recognize facial and hand gesture movement, and we ended up scrapping the body movement part because we needed to for the sake of our own app's viability in the market.
Our app, Podium, changed a lot as we came up with new ideas that we wanted to integrate, and in addition some that we wanted to take out. But another thing that changed a lot was the color scheme. So even in our initial prototype for the app interface, it was an orange to yellow gradient, but we took a step back and then we realized that it looks so much like PowerPoint, and PowerPoint is already associated so heavily with presenting that we thought it would be a really bad idea to do orange. So we ended up testing colors like purple and red because we thought they were underused in apps, and we wanted to find something that looks stylish but also original. And then blue seemed like a good option because it's just such a common color, but then we realized it's a very basic color as well because already a lot of other apps use it. And after days of scrolling through lots of color generators and even creating our own, we finally came up with a really good collection of colors.
Prototyping went by as more and more screens were made, and before you know it, Podium was born.